Hello everybody, today is Cheese Puffer talking here. Yes, Purity is hitting this, man, so damn hard. Anyways, today we're going to rank every single map in Bear Alpha in difficulty scale. That means we're going to take the map, we're going to see if of its characteristics, mainly the location of puzzles and the overall layout map that we have in here. Anyways, enjoy the video. This ranking was made by me and my friend Coolname. So yeah, enjoy the video. So the 26th place goes to Haunted Mansion because it's just fails to be a big map. It's supposed to be a large map with a lot of stuff, but it fails on that because it is really easy to remember where you are because it has been for such a long time. Like since the game's released, Haunted Mansion is the main map. So everybody knows this map at this point. Okay, so the 25th place will go to a Battle.net School because it's overall the same thing as Haunted Mansion. But the catch is it has been a little bit earlier and it has received a rework since then. But the locations of the puzzles are really close to the spawn, so it really helps you rush in with this stuff and make it all in a really low time. Like yikes, low time. And it's overall not that big of a maze. It's supposed to be a maze, but it fails on that. The 24th place goes to Yorick's Place because of the same thing as the other two. But the thing is, Yorick's is in our opinion considered a tad bit harder than the other two. Why? Because it's large. Its success is on being a large map where you could hide in the forest, and that's it basically. You could survive in the forest really well, but the bear, if it really doesn't help with the bear. The 23rd place goes to Cyanide. This damn map you're seeing right now, because it's small and the puzzles are really connected to the maps, like really easy to rush all the puzzles. But the bear could be a little bit confused in some parts. Though, it's overall really easy to find yourself there because it has been a really recent map. Not enough to be a reasonable hard map. The 22nd place goes to the Final Hour because it has the same issue as the previous map that I cannot say the name for the love of my life. Anyways, it has the same issue basically. Though it is higher because it has these viewers and the puzzles are a bit more distanced from each other. Especially the cheese altar and the colors one because it could be on the other side of the map. The 20th place goes to Lab, and you might be asking yourself, why Lab? Isn't that map so damn dark and you can't see anything, and it's basically a little maze? Yeah, technically, but it has been is the same issue from Haunted Mansion and Yorick's Resting Place. It has been in the game for a long time, so a lot of players have it memorized in their heads. So this map can only be difficult to newer players. The 19th place goes to Anemoia, and it's pretty much the same issue as Cyanide, because it has a really small area, like a extremely small area for the department part. Though the only tricky thing that makes it raise that much is probably the jungle, because I personally find it so damn hard to navigate through there and also to get the stuff, but it could be easier for you or for someone. Though, just to think in mind, this is the same situation that we had with Lab, which is going to be is going to be harder for earlier players in the game. The 18th place goes to Aliens from Neptune, and it's the same thing from Anemoia. It has a really small area for standard parts, which is the puzzle parts, and bigger areas to navigate through. But it's a bit smaller, but a bit more trickier to traverse because it's it takes time to memorize that. Like, I personally took about 4 to 5 months to not 4 to 5, like 4 to 5 weeks to memorize that, and I usually memorize a map in like a week or so. So it could be a little bit tricky to memorize it when you see stuff, especially when you traverse for the crate to the cave and to the Fang and the Bishop, the Capella, and etc. in the map. The 27th place goes to Astropod for the same reason of Anemoia and Aliens from Neptune. It doesn't have that much of a small area, but it fails to be in a maze. Sort of. Usually, back in the older version of it, it was pretty much a maze. It worked as a maze. Though now it doesn't. It looks like a maze, but it isn't. You could memorize it like in 5 days or something like that. So it makes much more easier to even newer players to know where they are in Astropod. The 26th place goes to Crazy Port because it has the same issue as the others maps. But it is a bit more harder because of its sheer massive, and I mean massive length, and the space through these puzzles. They're really spacious through the puzzles, but it doesn't place any higher because it's really easy to memorize it with all the sheer unique things that are in Crazy Port. You could pretty much memorize everything in a couple of weeks, like in 2 to 3 weeks minimum. 15th place goes to Lone House because it's pretty much okay difficulty map. It doesn't have any issues. It's perfect as it is, because the puzzles are spacious correctly, and it has a pretty much good length, though it doesn't overboard like other maps do. Sometimes it could be a little bit confusing to know where you are, because it is a bit confusing sometimes. Though a real confusing map is the next map, which is the 24th place, Backrooms. Yes, this is a pretty confusing map if we're talking about the old version. The same thing happens in the Astropod. This would have been so much higher if it wasn't for the rework. The rework made it so much easier to locate yourself in Backrooms now. Though sometimes you could learn where you are again, because it's a bit more spacious, but at the same time it's changed a bit of the stuff, so it makes it a little bit harder, not gonna lie. Though, good luck trying to find the survivors if you're there, or if you're a survivor trying to find the puzzles, because it is really scattered, it is really difficult to find them, and it is confusing. The 23rd place goes to Pirate Cove, and it is that high impressively. Is a bit of a hot take. Yeah, I would say so. But it is a bit confusing sometimes, especially in the cave and in the forest overall. Though it is a bit, though the city part is really remembered by everyone. 22nd place was a tie between Pirate Cove and Cheese Factory, but I chose Cheese Factory because of a tiebreaker, the puzzles, because the puzzles are way much scattered than Pirate Cove. Yes, the puzzles on Pirate Cove are scattered, yes, but in comparison to Cheese Factory is a bit more scattered, and the sheer length of the map with the second floor makes it harder in my opinion. So yeah, good luck trying to find the puzzles in there. It's probably one of the hardest maps to find puzzles in. 11th place goes to Sunset Plain. Why? Because it is forgettable. When I was doing this video with my friend, we were thinking for a map. When we checked the wiki, we just saw Sunset Plain, and we checked it was a Bear Alpha map, and we were like, what? Because it is really forgettable. Nobody remembers that map. Nobody. And I mean, nobody. It is also a really recent map, so I give the doubt of it. And it also is a bit confusing sometimes, especially on the center. Especially on the center when you need to traverse through a lot of the stuff. Like, a lot and a lot of the stuff. Now we are entering in top 10. Though, if you're liking this video, please leave a like and a subscribe. If we hit 50 likes, we're going to do the same thing, but with Bear Star. So please hit the like button. And overall, just enjoy the video. We're in the top 10, so thank you for making this far. You're a legend. So, 10th place goes to Assembly. And this is because of 3 major facts. Sheer length, traversability, and rememberability. You don't see everybody saying, oh, my favorite map is Assembly. No, you don't see that. And you don't even see people talking about Assembly because it is forgettable and it is really hard to traverse in. Like, it's filled with pipes, a huge house, and trees everywhere. It's so damn hard to traverse through there. Like, if you're trying to walk in a certain part, it's going to be extremely hard till you find a location you could hide in. And especially for the bear, it is even more harder because you could hide anywhere. And I mean, like, anywhere. It is going to be so hell to if you're a bear and you fall in this map. Just say GG's if you do that. And that coming free is in 9th place because of one fact. It is huge. And I mean, like, huge. Probably the biggest map in Bear Alpha, if we're excluding System Crypt and Sewage Domain. And I think those are smaller. Anyways, not the topic right now. It is just really, really big. It is a bit memorable, but it's really opened, making it extremely hard for survivors to hide in, and a tad bit medium for bears to find the survivors, because you could hide in a really well place, and it could be really far away from the bear, like a minute of walking from a distance is so damn difficult to find persons in the Undead Coming free map. 8th place goes to SOS because it has pretty much the same issue. It is not that big, but it's really, and I mean like really hard to find people there. If you're trying to find a place to hide, you could hide in perfectly. Like, you could even hide in the stuff you could traverse to in the other stuff. It's so damn hard to find people there. Like, incredibly hard. And I'm not even kidding. I one time was there in SOS. I spent the whole entire round trying to look for a person, and I didn't even find one. It is that difficult to find people there. 7th place goes to Brick Bay Zoo. And this is pretty much a really hot take. Why, you may ask? Everybody thinks Brick Bay Zoo is one of the easier maps because of its size, right? It's really open, blah blah blah. For survivors, is really easy of a map. For bears, in the other hand, it's probably the hardest map for bears. Probably the 3rd hardest, 4th hardest. Nah, probably 3rd. Yeah, 3rd hardest map for bears. Because it is so damn easy to, you miss someone walking by. You're gonna see a later clip of the cameraman walking through the Brick Bay Zoo, and he passed through me in the recording. Anyways, it is so damn hard to find people in here, and overall, it is a really spacious map. You could hide anywhere, I mean. So yeah, I recommend you going for Brick Bay Zoo if you are a survivor. If you are a bear, you're screwed, basically. I think a well-balanced map is going to be the next one. Sixth place goes to Hospital Nightmare. And is for a good reason. It is a huge, and I mean like a huge map. Like it rivals 1-to-1 Undead Coming Free of how hard it is to find people there. Especially from the remake, it just switched everything place. Like we were decorating still this stuff. And Cheat was like, nah, let me make this harder, and switched everything's place. It was so damn difficult to remember. So this is why it wins this much of a high placement. It is so damn hard to find yourself. The fifth place goes to Area 51, and it's because of this sheer forgettability and length. It is just a huge maze with blocked passages exclusively to the bear only, and still it doesn't help that much the bear. Fourth place goes to Monochrome because it is probably the largest map in the entire Bear Alpha, and it is pretty much a bit confusing for newer players and even mid-game players. It is extremely hard to know where you are, and good luck trying to find yourself. And the third place goes to Underwater Woods because it is just a really forgettable map and a really big map with a really spacious gap between puzzles. Second place goes to System Crypt because it is a really difficult map to locate yourself in because it's a huge maze. And Cheetahman did a rework recently, so it erased everybody's muscle memory of that level. And last but definitely not least, first place goes to Sirius Domain because of the same reasons of System Crypt. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in into the video. If you made this far, thank you so much. If you did, comment feet emoji. Yeah, a feet emoji. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. Love y'all so much. And yeah, that's it pretty much that I had to say. If you disagree with the list, comment down below. Anyways, goodbye guys. Peace.